Hello, everyone. Thank you for attending this session titled Towards Cyber Defending Organizations from Physical World Calamities. My name is Amin Hasbini, and I'm Director of Research with Kaspersky Lab Global Research and Analysis Team within the MENA region. And in our agenda today, we will be discussing the magnitude of threats targeting Saudi Arabia, the latest by the attack groups targeting Saudi Arabia, and how that impacts organizations and influences their operations. We will be also discussing a lot about the Kaspersky visibility over threat intelligence and how that impacts the Saudi realm and the Saudi organizations. Let me start with a small introduction of my team, the Kaspersky Global Research and Analysis Team. We are a team that was established in 2008, and we've been tracking advanced persistent threats since then. We do have a long history of publications for Kaspersky Lab, and our main role is to track and hunt for advanced persistent threats. We only count around 45 people inside the company. Totally inside the company, we have around 4,000 employees. But we have a very important role of identifying the latest about attack groups and that we track. And we are currently tracking more than 900 groups or attribution entities. So let's have a look at the current situation in Saudi's cyberspace. So let's get closer to Saudi. Let's get closer to the information coming around Saudi, and have a look at some of the statistics and then some of the challenges that are facing Saudi organizations. So if we'd like to start with some numbers, so the average cost of a breach as per a study done by Kaspersky, is for SMBs around $108,000 in Saudi, and for enterprises around $2.73 million per incident in 2019 and 2020. And these kinds of numbers are quite scary, and I believe no organization wants to face such kinds of losses. In number two, so we do have a global estimate of around $6 trillion of damage caused by or cost caused by cyber attacks expected in 2021, and in comparison, it was around half of that, around $3 trillion in 2015. So definitely the number of threats and the kinds of threats are increasing, and the quality of the threats is becoming much more difficult to handle without sufficient maturity inside the organization, cybersecurity maturity, of course. In another study, business leaders attitude. So 68% of the business leaders fear their cybersecurity risks are increasing. Again, confirming the same increase in numbers or expectations in numbers for 2020 and 2021. And in number four, we do have the breaches motivation. 71% of breaches were financially motivated. This gets us closer to the initial graph that we have seen with the different levels of threats, and I think so we do have around 29% of the attacks are not financially motivated. So we are talking about different kinds of attacks, such as reputation, ideological, political, espionage, intelligence, etc., etc. We'll be talking about these a little bit more in the next few slides too. So in number five, so breach features, 52% of breaches feature hacking, of course, where an organization is infiltrated for the data to be collected and stolen, or certain vulnerabilities are getting exploited, etc. 28% involve malware, and custom malware, which can be changed or adapted, or in some cases open source malware that is difficult to attribute and to track. 30%, 33% include phishing or social engineering, and we see that regularly, I think. So let's get even closer to reality, to what is happening inside Saudi Arabia. And we will be having a look at some of the threat intelligence that is currently available inside Kaspersky around the threats targeting Saudi. We will definitely start by one of the most popular attacker groups that you know as Water. And I think this is one of the very active groups that is continuously operating and active, even though they were exposed and their data was leaked last year. So we did recently have, we did recently find traces of muddy water targeting a large multitude of organizations and industries in the Middle East region. We found them we found detections and victims inside Lebanon, Jordan, Egypt, Iraq, Turkey, Emirates, Saudi, of course, Egypt, and Kuwait, and some others. So we got in touch with the corresponding entities and the legal authorities, of course, and we were able to resolve these issues and help them to stop these attacks. The targeted industries that we have been investigating were government, telcos, healthcare authorities, and non-government organizations. So we move next to another threat actor, which is somehow more or less connected to the muddy water, which is, of course, oil rig. And oil rig is a very active group also in the region. We've seen them, we see them regularly. It's not a group that we miss every week or so. And they have different names like Helix Kitten, Krambus, APT-34. They are well known for attacks on financial, governmental, energy, chemical, and telco organizations in the Middle East. And they are believed to be behind a recent attack on a large government entity in the Levant region, also in the Middle East. So the group seemed to have been compromising Microsoft Exchange accounts or servers of agencies, and using these as C2, as command and control for communications. So they actually collect data and they ask malware to connect to this Exchange server, and then from there they exfiltrate the data to the outside world or to where they want them to be sent. So we are tracking their attacks, and we are looking for any new artifacts that they are using. Like usually we see new files regularly, though it's more of the same. And it's only until we see a major new change in their toolset or technology or techniques that we do release a new report with new IOCs and new YARA rules, because this is where our organizations or like client organizations are benefiting towards the detection and stopping such attacks. Next, let's talk about one of the most popular and most active groups, not only in the Middle East, but globally also. And this group has different names like Labyrinth Colima, Group 77, Guru 121, Zinc Appleworm, Nickel Academy, like they have all sorts of names. And you probably know them most for the Bangladesh heist, the $1 billion Bangladesh heist. And they have targeted numerous financial institutions globally, and numerous ones in the META region too, Middle East, Turkey, and Africa region too. And they have interests in any organization that has money, especially recently in Bitcoin exchange kinds of organizations where money can be transferred anonymously on as cryptocurrency. They have they use a major platform that we call Meta, and they adapt this platform for the different kinds of needs that they have. We've seen previously Meta platform being used to target Windows and Linux systems, but now we see such a platform being adapted to target Mac OS systems too. These people have everything. They have different kinds of rats and loggers. They have different kind of malware families that they use upon need, and they even have a ransomware family that we were able to find a connection with related to lasers. And this is the PhD ransomware. So they are targeting different kinds of institutions, not only financially. So we do have a report that is recent on them targeting automotive and academic institutions. And they have different kinds of motivations. Sometimes they are financial, but in many other cases they are also around intellectual property and espionage / intelligence. Next, I would like to have a quick look at one of our tools that we call Apt-Cnc Tracking. And this is regarding the IP addresses and the domains that are related to malware and or servers of malware. They deliver malware, and they are based in Saudi or on Saudi IP addresses or on Saudi systems that that are inside the Saudi premises. They are most probably compromised. So why would an attacker deploy their attack tools inside Saudi Arabia, you might ask? And a lot of that happens because attackers are able to access victims more easily when they are close to them geographically. Usually within Saudi, you have very limited delays in connectivity, and you also have very high upload and download rates, especially on the fiber infrastructure, so which allows attackers to do their attacks much faster and cause their damage quicker, sadly. So this is why attackers decide sometimes to compromise systems inside Saudi Arabia to deploy their attacks. So we do have a number of currently active attack servers running on Saudi IP addresses, and they are usually used for different kinds of purposes, whether to deliver the exploits or the malware or like the payloads, or to collect the intelligence or the data, etc. So we can see these. Some of these are Metasploit servers or Cobalt Strike related. Some of these are beef or news beef related, which is a threat actor that we track, part of the kitten threat actors, and is directly connected to ORIG and Stalker. Next, we have also like other kind of Metasploit servers that have been like last seen June, last seen September 28, which is today, last seen September 23, etc., etc. So some final thoughts on the remediation of cyber attacks. We will not be talking like this is not the purpose of this presentation or the session, but we will be talking briefly about things organizations should be definitely taking care of or planning towards their safety and security. And one, of course, is cyber awareness of employees, because employees have a very big role to play in any organization, and their awareness and their cybersecurity like personal defenses need to be at the highest levels in order for an organization to be protected as a whole. And I think this allows employees to more collaborate with the security teams to better understand what is their role in cybersecurity or securing the organization, and better be careful about laws and regulations, especially when we talk about insider kinds of threats and threat actors. We talk about, of course, about advanced technologies that are important for any kind of organization to track APTs and collect intelligence, whether automated or to feed into SOC teams and threat intelligence teams and DFIR teams, for them to know the kind of threats that are trendy, for them to know the kind of tools and techniques that are being used by the new and the latest threats and threat actors in the region specifically. We do have a number of organizations that come in touch with us, and we help them to build a list of APT groups that target them. So let's say a list of 10 groups that target such kind of organization, and we then help them to get the intelligence that is more or less customized, more or less dedicated for their own operations, and that is most important for them to prioritize, because these threat actors or threat attack groups will be using these techniques on organizations, or are using these techniques on organizations that are very similar to their own organization, and then they could be using such techniques now inside their organization, or planning to use them soon, like in the next days or weeks or months on this organization. Advanced risk management, of course, is one of the critical categories, or the critical frameworks for securing any organization, tracking vulnerabilities and penetration testing, classification of data, and then different kinds of security for different kinds of data, and that is, I think, obvious for any kind of cybersecurity program inside an organization. And then once you have all of these kinds of like advanced employees, advanced technologies, and advanced risk management, advanced compliance comes in to complete the picture. Advanced compliance allows the organization to automatically be compliant with laws and regulations, and follow the governance recommendations, and of course to have the right procedures in place, the right policies, and the right liabilities in place is one of the most important factors influencing any kind of organization or organizational safety. As final thoughts, I think this session has said a lot about the kind of threats that we are currently seeing at Kaspersky inside Saudi Arabia, the kinds of threats that in many cases are the mistake of an employee or an IT personnel, or a mistake of sometimes even the executives, because executives have a big role in influencing and deciding, or helping the cybersecurity teams decide on what is best for them, and helping provide the right motivation, the right finances and budget, and goals for the cybersecurity teams inside an organization. And again, let's stay connected. If you have any questions or any concerns, if you'd like to ask anything related to the threats in Saudi, threats that could be targeting you or could have targeted you previously. If you have any of such questions, please do get in touch with us. We do have utmost importance for our customers' security and privacy, of course, and we deal with such information in a secret or confidential manner. I'm sharing here my own personal information, whether on the public or at Kaspersky, and feel free to get in touch with us, and we'll be happy to support with any requests that you might have. Thank you very much for listening to this session, and I hope that you have a great day ahead. Bye-bye.